Hi, folks. This is Dr. Virender Sodhi for program Your Body is Your Natural Pharmacy. And today we have a very hot topic of cholesterol. We all have heard about the cholesterol and how bad it is for you. And I am going to break that myth and really completely blow your mind off that cholesterol is actually good for you. And I have with me a very talented, intelligent young doctor, Dr. Anup Mulakari. He also had done residency in my clinic for 1 year, and I'm really impressed with this young man. He is very research oriented like me, and I think we kind of had the common kind of knowledge of the hunger for the knowledge. Yeah. And so Anup, welcome to the show, and we would love to have you on this show, and we're going to have a wonderful discussion on cholesterol today.
Sounds good, sir. Thank you so much, and it's such an honor to be with my mentor here, Dr. Sodhi. I really honor your knowledge for 40 years that you were able to download for me, that I can be good at my work. So thank you for the knowledge you carry for the world.
Thank you for lettering, Anup. I don't think I deserve it, but that's how I take it. Okay, so let's talk about cholesterol. What is cholesterol, Anup? So because I graduated from medical school in 1980, and I did study my physiology in 1976. So I may be a little rusted on the physiology. So you're a young doctor, you graduated recently, and I'd like to listen from you. What is cholesterol? So let's discuss about it.
Absolutely. So cholesterol, contrary to what we usually think of as LDL and HDL cholesterol by itself is a single molecule that is used by body for many physiological functions. Some of the most important ones that we focus in our practice, Dr. Sodhi, is the hormonal functions.
Exactly.
Adrenal hormones make our cortisol, testosterone, DHEA, progesterone, even estrogens are based off of the cholesterol that is coming in from our digestive system.
And another thing which you brought in, hormones are very important for us. Mm-hmm. Every hormone is made from cholesterol.
Yes.
So this is your food bank of making the hormones.
Absolutely.
And if you have less of your food bank to make cholesterol, that means you will have less hormones.
Yes.
And the hormones are our mover. Though they make us smarter, healthier, stronger, intelligent. And so that means when we're cutting down the cholesterol, we are not helping that whole cascade.
Yeah. Hormones help to harmonize the body's activities and functions.
That's right.
So with that function of cholesterol known, cholesterol is carried around the body with carriers like HDL and LDL. First, in the liver, what we produce is LDL, which is the low-density lipoprotein. This is a fluffy, fatty molecule which carries the cholesterol around to all of the organs. And as it goes around there, Dr. Sodhi, it gets fatty molecules get picked out of there either for energy or for signals, or use cholesterol for making more hormones. And then slowly this LDL shrinks down to become an HDL. So what we learn from this is that as the body is functioning well and using the resources of the fatty signals and the fatty energy that is coming through the LDL, it naturally converts the LDL into HDL. So LDL being a bad cholesterol doesn't really make sense to me because we're converting it into HDL, which is the good cholesterol.
Exactly. So basically, the LDL is the transporter of the fat. And again, you all heard about the bad cholesterol and good cholesterol. So the LDL has been named as a bad cholesterol, and HDL has been named as a good cholesterol.
Right.
So, but looking at this definition and the functionality of the LDL, it doesn't look bad to me because the LDL is going to every cell and delivering the fat to it, and that fat is being utilized by the body, and in the end it turns into HDL, with then HDL goes recycle into the liver and goes through the same cycle again. So very funny that how we call that a good cholesterol as a bad cholesterol. So I think fundamentally that there's a wrong discussion.
Yeah.
And again, LDL is not cholesterol basically. It has a protein molecule that's called low density lipoprotein. And that high density lipoprotein, which is almost 50-50 protein and 50% cholesterol. So what we are talking about, this whole theory of lowering LDL cholesterol to help the heart, is fundamentally wrong.
Yes.
So I think in my personal opinion, and I've been practicing for 36 years now, that people who has been on statin drugs, which does the good job in lowering the LDL cholesterol, although it does not do really good on the HDL, but people did not see the benefit. We'll talk about that, in a few minutes, about the benefits of statin or no benefits of statins. Yeah.
Sir, I just want to say it's amazing to sit next to you and have this discussion and still be learning new things. What you said just now about how even the starting language of us dealing with this problem, we're using the wrong language. How can we understand the problem if we already starting on the wrong path? And so instead of looking at good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, as I see, we should look at how the body works and how the body functions, and in order to go towards health and apply, strengthen those things. So
the one thing is, what you brought in is a very interesting point of the regular medicine right now. What's going on is we're looking at a pathological model. And so the cholesterol got named because cholesterol was there for repair.
Yes.
Whenever there is an injury happening in the blood vessel, cholesterol is the first one to reach there. So the cholesterol molecule is slightly smaller than the red blood cell. And so it's carried out and bounced back and forth in the blood vessels. And wherever there is an injury, which actually happens all the time, there is oxidation happening every second. When we even breathe, we're causing oxidation. So then at the injury place, the oxidation process is a little more because of the injury. And the lipids, the fat go and deposit that to stop that process right there. Because also fat is anti-inflammatory. But if we have loaded fat with the kind of garbage, with the wrong kind of pesticide, insecticide, and other inflammatory molecules with it, then it's going to cause more damage. So this is interesting, how we are taking the pathology model and not looking at the normal physiology model.
Yes.
That the body.
What the body can do for itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the whole idea about this program. Your body is a natural pharmacy.
Yes.
We repair ourselves automatically. We don't need that damn drugs, Yes, they have a role, but they have a very limited role. They don't provide health.
Dr.
So go ahead.
You shared with me a really nice metaphor of how the river stream and how the LDL and HDL travel through the bloodstream and the hemodynamics. Could you paint the picture for us again?
So, again, coming back to the discussion of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, and we have been told that LDL is the bad cholesterol and HDL is the good cholesterol, which is true. All the basis of this country's lipid studies is based on the Framingham studies, which was done. But if you look at
Framingham heart
study, yeah, exactly, and that heart study showed that people, if you dissect it, it showed that people who ate more fat, they actually were thinner, more leaner, more high HDL, and have less heart attack and lived longer. But it has been flipped around and has been given wrong information. But coming back to your question regarding how the blood flows through the system, so I was using the metaphor of river.
Yes.
So think about it. The blood vessels in our system is like a river, and the purpose of the river is to supply the water for the vegetation, and the purpose of the blood vessel is to supply the blood to all the organs. There are minutest blood vessels, which we call capillaries, and there are arteries. So there are two kinds of blood vessels. We have one is supply, which is we call arteries, and one for collecting, which we call venous system. So they are constantly in flux. They are moving. So the venous system does not get, by the way, plaque formation. It happens only in the artery. So isn't that amazing? So
because that's where blood is going with force.
Exactly. So another interesting thing is, so like when this blood flowing in the blood vessels or the river is flowing, so you see there is a big rocks. So that's like a HDL, and it does not make a big problem there. Then there are small, kind of round stones, maybe 5-6 inch diameter. Those are LDLs, and they are not, coming up either, So the problem then comes with the sand, and sands will go into the places wherever there's a bend. So small molecules of fat will deposit wherever there are bend in the blood vessels, and that's why we see the plaque formation there. Because this is the hemodynamics, is how the river flows, is how the fluid flows in the system. So, but to make it clean, what we have to do is just basically go to the plant-based diet. It just clean it out simply, very, very simply. It cleans our body, has amazing phenomena of healing.
So, Dr. Sodhi, before we get to the plant-based diet, which is wonderful to understand, let's dive into a little bit more how the LDL actually become into a plaque. So LDL, being that they get deposited more easily in the small blood vessels of the body then has to somehow get rid of it. And one of the main reasons why LDL will get stuck in the bloodstream is because of the oxidation that happens. Blood vessels our blood is full of oxygen, which is being delivered to all of the body. And just like the iron rust outside, or we might see, when we cook the fat too much and it becomes oxidized and greasier. Similarly, oxidized LDL becomes more highly deposited in the blood vessels. In order to get rid of this, body activates the immune system to help try to break it down and get rid of it.
And it creates inflammation, small amount of inflammation.
Exactly. Yeah. This is where I learned that so macrophages, which is one of the immune cells, comes in and actually becomes stuck in the sludge in the process of getting cleaned. As one of my teachers say, it's the macrophage gets stuck in the quagmire of the fatty streak that is in the blood vessel.
Yeah, it does, because we don't want to mend. We still want our macaroni and cheese, or we want our
right.
that deep fried food, because now that body is never used to have that kind of food ever. Our system is not designed for that.
Yeah.
In the mother nature, we didn't have frying pans hanging on the trees.
Right.
So we were never supposed to eat that kind of food, and now you're getting stuck because they are not recovered by the system.
And so I'm starting to see that inflammation is the main issue. And again, this comes up in research as we get into the statins and the other natural treatments also. But could you speak a little bit more about what you see in your practice with regard to how inflammation contribute to this issue?
So we'll continue the discussion on inflammation and heart disease. And you can call at number 844-301-1250 if you have any questions regarding cholesterol or cholesterol medication you're on. And we're going to take a short break for the advertisement.
Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information.
So, we were talking about the inflammation and what kind of patients I've seen over the years. I must have seen several thousand patients with cholesterol.
Yeah.
And from the day one, when I read about the whole stories about statin actually got commercially available in the USA in 1987. And it was first discovered by, I think, 1976 by a Japanese a researcher, and then later on, I think it was picked up by Merck or some other scientists there picked it up. And the pharmaceutical industry saw that there's a big link, for them to make good money out of it. And so the whole wrong science was promoted around it. And the original study, cholesterol and heart disease, started from the rabbit. And rabbits don't eat fat. Their food is grass.
Yeah.
Their food is green. And the rabbits were fed the cholesterol-rich diet, and they deposited the fat in their blood vessels, and they caused the heart attack kind of symptoms in them. And that's how the whole model was brought into it. And it was a really good model for the pharmaceutical industry, but it was not the real physiological model.
Yeah.
It didn't help the normal physiology. So since 1987, the statin drugs has been in use in USA and rest of the world.
Yeah.
And my question is, did we see a big drop in heart attack? Still 43% people are dying with heart attack.
Yeah.
So if the cholesterol was the cause of this heart attack, we should see a big drop in the heart disease. And because more than $500 billion worth of statins are sold every year worldwide.
Wow.
$500 billion. So it's a small chunk. $1 billion is $1,000 million.
Yeah.
So you can just start counting the zeros.
Yeah.
So that much money spent on this drug worldwide, and the heart attack is going up and up. And the real cause of the heart attack, you can see people who has a heart attack, 50% does not have a cholesterol problem. This is actually a well-known fact. And 50% may have a cholesterol issue, but it's not leading to the heart disease. There are actually studies on longevity. People who have high cholesterol, they live longer. So because, again, the hormones, it harmonizes your body.
Yeah.
So if people have a good cholesterol, they will actually have a good hormones, and the hormones make us younger or older.
Yeah.
When we are younger, our skin is smoother, the bones are stronger, muscle heals because what is the difference? Because we have a good amount of hormones in us, and as we age, the hormone drop, and we are seeing a huge drop in the testosterone. Do you hear the ad which we have all for the testosterone?
Low T.
Low T.
Yeah.
And they brought a new name to it.
Yeah.
Low T. And what they're prescribing is a testosterone.
Yes.
And testosterone is being sold now like candies. Almost every young adult above age 30 is getting testosterone. Again, we are creating a more problem.
Yeah.
In our clinic, we change that without giving any testosterone.
And that you're saying, so Dr. Sodhi, because we're lowering cholesterol so much with statins, people are having issues with other hormones.
Exactly.
So I want to set up the little bit about the statin myth and have you comment on it, Dr. Sodhi. So the point with the statin industry is that take statin to lower your cholesterol in order to prevent heart attack, stroke, issues like that. But we know now with our discussion here and the research we've looked at that cholesterol is not the problem. And the goal is to actually convert the HDL into LDL into HDL,
exactly.
So we don't have a problem with that. So are we somehow missing the target, when we're using statin?
Exactly, because all the studies, we wrote articles when you were working with me in the clinic here, we wrote articles on it. And there is a body of research available. Mm-hmm. And most of the research which is done by the drug companies, it shows other things. It doesn't show the reality to us. But you look at the meta-analysis, then it tell you, oh my God, there's no benefit.
Yes.
And there is no benefit if you take statin drug or not statin drug. It actually there is a interesting one of a friend who is a heart surgeon himself had a heart attack, and he's on my age. And his wife called me and said, Virender, your friend has a heart attack. I said, wow, that's not good. So he had a stenting done, and by the stenting, next day you can go to the work again, because usually people go back to because you're just opening up dilating that blood vessels, which is shrinking in there. And he went back to work, and then he started taking statin drugs as prescribed. And within 1 week, he was forgetful. And he's a heart surgeon. And he went into the operation theater and forgot what he did. He came out of the operation theater and have to really think hard what procedure he has done.
Yes.
And his wife said, that was a very scary thought for him. Yeah. And then he started looking at the statin. And one of the side effects of statin is dementia.
Okay. Memory loss.
Memory loss. Yeah. It causes the memory loss. Okay. And he stopped using that. And actually, when I asked him to get the test done, this is funny. He was put on a standard protocol. He was on statin. He was on Plavix. At that time, there was a drug Plavix. Now there's changed new drugs. Aspirin. And he started looking at statin and found out, this is another interesting, if you give statin drugs to 100 people, 2 people will get heart attack. Okay. If you give no statin, then suppose 4 people will get heart attack. So what they did, so look at, 96% didn't get anything with the no statin drug, and 98% people did not get. So there was a double benefit of death. So what they do, they rotate that and said, 50% benefit. If you look at it, the statistical, it will be not be there. Not a huge difference. But they took that and they turned it around and showed there is a huge benefit. Actually, there is a zero benefit. And the studies which we have been looking at it.
So let me mention a few studies here with statin drugs. First, going into individual study, one is the PROSPER study with 5,800 people. Another is the ALL-HAT study with 10,300, and ASPART study with 10,300 people. And all these 3 studies individually come up with the same conclusion. The statins did not reduce total heart attacks and strokes in the people who are taking it.
And that's why we are giving these statin drugs to prevent the heart attack and the stroke. And actually, this is another interesting, one of my relatives who has a heart history in the family and has a high cholesterol, and he was on statin drug and still got the heart attack. And I know he was so faithfully, I think he's still taking it, but because knowledge is not there. And there is we don't have, it's just the statin drugs were marketed since 1987. We don't have even 100 years of history of statin drug use. So we cannot even see if it makes any evidence for us to support the benefit of it. And just again, I think, why don't we talk about some evidence-based medicine? There is no evidence that statin drugs helps. And can you share that how the evidence-based medicine is lacking in the main medical field?
Absolutely. Basically, in the medical field, I think what goes on is what is the knowledge that is passed on from one individual to the other. There's not a lot of study that is happening like first person basis. I think one of the big advantage of me being with you, Dr. Sodhi, was that I got in a habit of looking at how the knowledge is updated, how things are shifting and changing, and how it all goes back to the normal physiology and how the body goes towards its own health as long as we support the health physiology.
So the outcomes, we have to look at the outcomes. We can say, okay, the numbers are lowered, like the cholesterol number is lowered, but there is no outcome out of it. So if you look at 5 years outcome, 10 years outcome, 15 years outcome, 20 years outcome, 30 years outcome, there's no outcome out of it.
Absolutely. So speaking of that, Dr. Sodhi, lack of outcome, so I looked at another systematic review, and systematic reviews, as we understand, is like the large studies, the combination of the large studies. So,
and it's not supported by the drug companies, by the way.
11.
That's why.
They took 11 studies with 65,000 patients and found that there is no relationship between reducing LDL cholesterol and preventing deaths in patients. And so again, goes to the point of, we say there's somehow evidence that statin helps. Statin helps in lowering cholesterol, but there's no evidence that statin helps in reducing
translating into the prevention of heart attack or the strokes. So this is another interesting thing. Is lower cholesterol, yes, but does not prevent heart disease or stroke.
And I think that's because we're missing the target of dealing with the inflammation.
We are completely doing the wrong medicine because we are missing the real theory of heart attack. So, okay, we're going to take a short break here, and you can call in at 1-844-301-1250 if you have any questions.
If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022.
So, coming back to what causes a heart attack, I think this is the discussion we should have and how we can prevent it, because we have seen that after using statin drugs for almost now 3 decades, almost 30 years, 29 years almost, give and take. So we don't have any prevention from the statin lowering method. So what causes heart attack is the first question. So the foremost cause when people get heart attack is inflammation. And if you're not cutting down the inflammation, so there is one marker, there are so many markers of inflammation too. So I think we get very excited when we found one marker, and one of them is called C-reactive protein. And there is a specific marker for the heart disease, which we call C-reactive protein for cardiac, and it's called HCRP. So that's a very wonderful predictor of a heart attack. If you have a C-reactive protein elevated, you have a 60% chances of getting heart attack. And funny it may sound, a normal cardiologist does not measure it. Isn't that funny? Isn't that sad? That which is a more predictor of a heart attack rather than cholesterol, they don't even measure it. And there are other markers like lipoprotein A or others, there are so many slew of it. They don't measure it. So basically, I think the whole cardiology is done wrong. In my opinion, they are looking at a marker like cholesterol, which has no benefit. 50% people does not have cholesterol issues, but they have a heart attack. And the real marker, which like is inflammation, and there can be so many other things, maybe nutrient deficiency, which can also lead to the heart attack. And one of the things which I see, like a lot of population around here in Bellevue, we see a lot of immigrants. And so they usually bring their lab results when they back in India. And 1 year ago, their cholesterol is all normal. and they moved down to Bellevue here, and the workload, the different society, food habits different, lack of family social networking, lack of their own language, lack of their own festivals, the fun part which they can go out and express themselves. So that completely changes that. And what I see is, so what happens with that is your cortisol levels goes up. Now, when your hormone cortisol goes up, your cholesterol ratios changes because body has to make more cholesterol to make the cortisol, because it's very important. This is to make you live. Otherwise, if you don't make cortisol, you can be dead. You can be very flat. We'll be very tired. So I think what we see is that stress is a bigger factor there, and we all know that stress is the cause of the heart disease. So if you're having a heart issue or if you have family history, you have to be more careful. I think everybody has to be careful because 43% people, almost half the population, die of heart disease. So almost everybody has to be careful. So number one, stress. Number two, you look at inflammation. And I also do some testing on my patient, and one of them is the calcium scoring. So the calcium scoring is the deposits of calcium. Again, when you have inflammation model, body get inflamed, and when you are repairing, the body deposits fibrous tissue and calcium there. That's a natural mechanism of healing.
Covering it up like a scar tissue over the inflammation.
Exactly. So in the blood vessels, you're depositing those calcium. So this test is very inexpensive, only $99, although not covered by insurance. But $99 is a very small amount to be paid for this kind of testing. And what it happens is you can look at it, how much calcium is deposited in your blood vessels, and looking at that, we need to see if it is going to be beneficial to go further for doing some more studies. And you look at C-reactive protein, you look at the nutrient level, you look at other aspects of it, and now you have a full picture, and you can help the heart attack. Many years ago, a patient came to me, and he had a heart attack. And he had a heart attack, and he was taken to the hospital. They put stent in him, and he came back. And the next week, one of his relatives is my patient, and he was brought into the clinic. And so he brought all the reports, and his cholesterol was 160. LDL was 70. HDL was something, around the 50 something. And he was still put on the statin drug, Plavix, and aspirin. And he said, my cholesterol is low. I asked my doctor, why are you putting me on this statin drug? Because this is a part of the protocol. They're trying to follow the protocol. So when, that protocol came in, and he said, no, this is not fair for me because I don't have a high cholesterol. So there is a one call waiting for us. So go ahead, caller. This is Dr. Sodhi.
Hello.
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 Can you lower your radio, please? Can you lower your radio, please? Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead. Yes.
Hi, hello, Dr. Sodhi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. My name is Sita. I'm calling from Tacoma.
What is your question?
My question today is that because my mom she died. She was only 66 years old, and then she have 8 kids, and then she died with a heart attack. And then, but I have seen my mom like she's overweight.
Yeah.
And then, even though like she's cooking house food all the time, but I don't know, maybe because of overweight she died, and she also have a heart disease, and also my mom have a high cholesterol.
Yeah.
So and then we. My question today is that how to prevent that. I also have my sibling die with a heart attack.
Yeah.
So that's my question today. That I still have
how
like
to prevent
4 in the family left. Yeah, how to prevent that, because we are like in a medium, like we are all our siblings, we are in a big size, and then I want to know that how we can prevent that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sita. So you brought a very good question. There is a family genetics. Okay, so but that does not mean you have to have a heart disease. Yeah. We all have different kind of genes. We come up with some bundle of different kind of genes, and that genes can change our structure. But genes are under the process of environment. And
epigenetics.
Epigenetics. If we change the environment, we can change the disease process. So basically, Sita, what you need to do is, you need to follow the laws of Mother Nature. One is walk. Simple. Free. Breathe. Breathing is a free medicine. It actually helps to burn. You're going to burn more calories. When you burn more calories, you can cut down the diseases. Drink more water, 8 glasses of water. Eat lots of green vegetables. Eating lots of green vegetable helps to flush out your system and arteries get cleaned out. This is it, simple. And there are herbs like curcumin, there's a gugo, which will help you to cut down the inflammation and cut down the even cholesterol from flushing from the system where it needs to be flushed out, although I'm not worried about that part. And eating healthy, normal fat. The deep frying, barbecuing, those kind of things will not help your body. Because what do you do barbecue, what do you do those kind of stuff, you are stuck with that gooey stuff, which is like a burn, and it's going to cause more damage to the blood vessels. And remember, the blood vessel inflammation is what's causing the heart attack. It's not the cholesterol. Cholesterol ending there because it has to prevent that scar. It has to prevent that inflammation there. So doing this stuff will be helpful to help it. There's another call waiting for you. Go ahead, caller. Please identify yourself. Hello? Hello, are you on the line? Hello? I think the caller dropped there. So, okay, so basically the idea is, to keep yourself healthy, and keeping healthy is just simple. Mother Nature doesn't want us to be sick. That's why I created this program, Your Body is a Natural Pharmacy. So what you need to do to be healthier is going to bed at night. And that starts at least 10 o'clock. Most of us, we are going to bed late. And having a good sleep, 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very essential for almost everybody, depending upon your different body constitution.
And sleep is the main way that we decompress from our day. Being that stress hormone causes inflammation to increase and also causes other risk of heart disease to increase, like storing more fat and having high cholesterol. So when we sleep, especially between the 10 to 6 hours, we're actually following the body's rhythm of when the adrenaline is supposed to go down and our body can relax and recover from the day. So it can be in a better position, less inflamed position the next day.
Exactly. So it's a wonderful free medicine again.
Yes.
And again, walking is a free medicine. We did a lot of research when we wrote the articles, remember, that just walking in the Mother Nature cut down your inflammation, increases your immune system by 40%.
40%.
When your immune system is more active, it's going to remove the inflammation and every disease from the body. Not only the heart attack, but it's also improve cancer chances, arthritis, diabetes.
These are Japanese studies about forest walking, talking about increasing the natural killer cell activity which fights against cancer and overall immune system. That lasts for 1 week after just 2 hours in the forest.
Exactly. So these are all freebies, and we don't have to. I think we have become a society which want a pill to fix a disease. But the disease is not fixed. Disease gets fixed within your own body. You have the ability to heal that body by doing the simple things. Just doesn't have to be very complicated. And I always get amazed at the Mother Nature. One of my favorite saying, I think you might have heard me saying many times, look at the animals. They don't get the annual physical. They don't get the pap smear. They don't get the prostate exam. They don't get the blood draws, but they're all healthy. And the other day I was just discussing with my other patient. I said, have you ever seen crippled animals? Too many of them. But look, all of us, as we get aging, we get crippled. Because of the wrong habits, wrong postures. Have you ever seen the animals with the big bellies? And look at around our society, we are walking 40 to 60% with big bellies these days. So we have created a societal pressure on people with not eating properly and not behaving the way we should behave. mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, spiritually,
Yeah.
and lack of exercise. And what we are suffering is that the
So,
result of it.
on the idea of exercise, Dr. Sodhi, so research shows that exercise is the main way to convert LDL into HDL.
Exactly.
Specifically, with the exercise like walking, or when we do aerobic exercise and activate
Weight
our
training.
big muscle, weight training,
Yeah.
we convert the LDL into HDL because muscles are using the fat
Yeah.
from the LDL to convert to use for energy, and the LDL is naturally converting into LDL.
Exactly.
This is the body protecting itself when we do the normal activity we need to do.
Okay, so let's take a short break for the advertisement here, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the saturated fat. How bad is it for you, or is how good it is for you? Because saturated fat is not bad for you, and we're going to talk about that as we come back after this ad.
Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022.
So, we have been doctrined in to think that the saturated fat is so bad for you. Now, there's actually a lot of articles coming out. All of a sudden, coconut oil has become a good oil.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I met a very wonderful professor on dairy, and he's a professor emeritus, and he has done work all life on the dairy product, yogurt and butter kind of stuff. And we were just talking about what's going on with this saturated fat. Why is so bad for why we are putting that media? And he said, Virender, start me even, because I'm so mad at the whole propaganda, which is wrong, and this is around 10 years ago.
Yes.
And then, we wrote an article together,
Yeah.
and we published in our newsletter there. And so he was saying the way we process fat, the milk right now. So one of the process which we all know is called homogenization. The homogenization is a process. We take the milk and we spray in to make a small molecule. So it looks like there is a caller here. Caller, please go ahead. This is Dr. Sodhi.
Hey, Virender, Uncle. This is Amit calling from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Hi. I had a question. If you could comment on the impact of mental illness on the body's inflammation as well as cholesterol and cardiovascular health.
Wonderful question,
like
Amit.
Depression or...
Yeah, actually, there is a new studies which are coming up and showing that the depression and schizophrenia is an inflammation disease and which starts in the gut. And again, I think there is a very strong link between the fat and the inflammation because the body needs small chain fatty acids. And small chain fatty acids comes from your butter, coconut oil, good oils like sesame seed oil, propannic acid and all those stuff. So if you have a good bacteria, again, this is another huge topic we should, some of these days we discuss about that, the biome, project. We have around 100 trillion cells in the body, and we have around 1,000 trillion bacteria in the body. So if somebody thinks that they own the body, we have to think it again because look like 1,000 trillion bacteria in you, and you have 100 trillion cells.
Yeah.
So these bacteria, they take in this fat and convert good thing for us.
Yeah.
And one of them is anti-inflammatory. They cause less inflammation. They also make neurotransmitters. They also make your B12 and folic acid and all those kind of stuff. So there's a huge cascade of things which they make for us. And I was reading the other day, if we take 1 gram of small chain fatty acid, which is your butter or ghee or coconut oil, or in the fiber too, you're making around 2 to 3 grams of fecal matter. Your feces. Your feces are 55 to 60% bacteria. So amazingly, so there is a kind of a symbiotic relationship. You take in the good fat, good fiber, and the body makes anti-inflammatory, and it causes body to be healthier. So the brain health, now there is a lot of link. There is a books written on gut and brain connection. There is an article published on gut and brain. But again, goes back to the simple physiology of the body, that how the normal physiology can convert everything into normal and be disease free. It may be a mental disease even.
Yeah.
So this is interesting that the mental disease even can be fixed, because now the new model is showing it's an inflammation disease.
Yeah. So what I'm finding is that both depression, mania, schizophrenia, anxiety, all of these diseases show up with individuals having some level of low-grade inflammation, and primarily resulting from how the adrenaline system is affected, and the HPA axis, which is how the brain communicates with the adrenaline system.
The pineal gland, yeah.
Yeah, the pineal gland. So there's low-grade inflammation. Also, Dr. Sodhi, very interesting. When we have a digestive tract inflammation,
Exactly.
we make most of our glutamate, or harvest most of our glutamate from the digestive tract, which is the basis of making serotonin.
Exactly.
Serotonin, when it's too low, we get depressed. When it's too high, we get mania and schizophrenia.
Exactly.
And so when there's digestive tract inflammation also, and which is common in our society because of the diet not being such a good quality, we end up causing ourselves mental, emotional illnesses secondary to what our diet is and how inflammation is in our gut.
Yeah, so the one interesting thing is that in the body everything is in kind of a balance.
Mm-hmm.
So we make so many hormones. We make dopamine, we make serotonin, but they're all in balance. They're nothing, there's the opposite always body is making to help the balance it out.
Yeah.
And when that nice balance is lost, we have problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, again, coming back to the Mother Nature knows it the best. And again, studies shows when you eat healthy diet, when you go for a walk, when you do yoga, when you do pranayama, your body naturalizes automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even it may be a depression. There's tons of studies available on exercise, meditation, yoga, and depression, and anxiety too.
Yeah.
So I think the body of research is now pointing us that what we have done for centuries in Ayurvedic medicine is 100% right. Mm-hmm. It is the most evidence-based medicine you can get.
Yeah.
And
I think the problem only is, Dr. Sodhi, is that to get 10,000 people on a study, you need millions of dollars.
Exactly.
And we see good studies after good study in natural products, but there's $1 million, maybe $500,000. And so we don't see the big numbers that we should be really seeing to, really make the case nationally that this is what we need as answer to our healthcare problems. But Dr. Sodhi, one real quick caveat, I think we missed this a minute ago. Real quick, can we touch on people who are taking statins, which is millions, what kind of side effects they should look out for and, be careful with? So one thing I came up with was liver injury, people having liver damage. So could you speak to that?
So, very common, this is actually it comes with a warning. All the statin drugs comes with a warning that you need to monitor liver function people,
mm-hmm.
and liver enzymes. So every 3 months or 6 months, the liver enzymes are monitored. And that is the, reason why they ask them to monitor, because liver get inflamed. And your liver is the warehouse of detoxification,
mm-hmm.
cutting down the inflammation. So you just look at it. Now you're causing more inflammation because when your liver enzymes are elevated, basically you're more inflamed.
Yeah.
And so we are trying to, one hand, we're trying to cut heart attack,
mm-hmm.
but you're now inflaming more liver.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it's go against that principle.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just increasing diabetes. Which is very, strange, because when you have a diabetes, your chances of getting heart attack increases fourfold.
Yeah.
So in the recent study, which was done, I think, on 9,000 plus patients, they found out that these people has a 46% increased
mm-hmm.
diabetes.
Yeah.
Now you tell me, you're helping the heart attack, or you making more heart attacks?
Very interesting study, sir. So this is 9,000 people in Finland followed over 6 years.
Yeah.
So they actually saw what statin does over a course of time, and what they found is that people who were taking the statin drugs had about 625 of them had new diabetes diagnosed. That's 46% more than people who were not taking statins. And these people started noticing also that their liver enzyme was off, symptoms being stomach pain and fatigue and abdominal kind of digestive discomforts also.
The most serious one is rhabdomyolysis, which is the muscle fatigue,
mm-hmm.
and it can be fatal in certain people. But muscle fatigue is so common. Previously Lipitor 80 milligrams were given. Then FDA put a ban on it because that was causing so much rhabdomyolysis, and some doctors are still using it. Again, I think if this is anything else, this would have been in the Congress, that how come you can give me a drug which has zero benefit, cause so many side effects, and why the hell are we still using it? That's my biggest question.
Yeah.
And another thing which the statin drug does, it lowers your CoQ10.
Yeah.
The CoQ10 is very vital for the heart. And that when you lower it, it's the energy molecule for the heart. Now you are going to have a problem with your heart, both problem. So basically it does not, make sense that you're giving a thing which is going to cut down the energy of your heart and cause more heart attack and diabetes and then liver injuries and then muscle fatigue or muscle loss, And so we're compounding the problem.
Yeah. With the muscle loss also, with the rhabdomyolysis, I see there's a lot of kidney failure because protein gets stuck in the kidneys also.
Exactly.
So that is a very life-threatening disease that can happen with this. And then we also talked about memory loss that happens. So basically, to summarize, Dr. Sodhi, we're seeing that because the statin blocks the liver function to make cholesterol, we have liver damage, but then we block the body from building cholesterol, so body cannot take care of blood sugar as well.
Exactly.
So has diabetes issue. Body cannot get energy to the muscle, so it has to break down muscle for energy, so we have muscle breakdown issue. And then the brain, which depends on fat as the main source of fuel.
The brain is 100% fat almost.
Exactly.
And so nervous system is fat,
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Every cell in the body is surrounded by the fat. So how can that fat be bad for us?
Yeah.
And if the fat is so bad for us, we make around 3,000 milligram to 4,000 milligram every day fat cholesterol by the liver.
Yes.
So how can that thing be bad for us, which the body naturally makes? I tell my students like you all the time and my patients too, that if Mother Nature is more intelligent than all of us, we can put thousands of doctors in a room, they not be still that intelligent, but the Mother Nature has designed it for millions of years. So if the Mother Nature has designed us that way to produce that kind of cholesterol, there's something better with it. And another thing which I think we didn't talk about it, when we cutting down the when we're giving statins, we are cutting down the hormone production too. And hormones are which keeps us younger and healthier. Vital, vigorous. So now we are, and then there are fat soluble vitamins. So like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, K, those are fat soluble. We are also lowering their numbers too. So now we are compounding problems on top of it. So I think this is a good time to take a little short break here, and then we come back. We're going to talk about, is that saturated fat are bad for us? Because we've been told, and I'm going to tell you that saturated fat are good for you and what they do for you, why they're good for you.
If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information.
Similarly, Nicole.
So, we're coming back to the discussion on the saturated fat, and we have been doctored into think that ghee, coconut oil, are so bad for you. And so if you look at it, until 1960s, all over the world, the ghee was utilized, or butter was utilized as a main fat. And people were eating heavy fat too. And they didn't have as much heart attack. The heart attacks were less in 1960 than we have today. Then what happened, we started to make a trans fats, which was, we took the vegetable oil, and we put hydrogen through them, and they become like a butter. They look like a butter. They melt like a butter. But when we eat them, body releases hydrogen, because body cannot digest that. And that's oxidation. So what we did, we actually created more oxidation. And what happened is the trans fat created more heart attack. And we forgot that the natural fat, the body wants the real fat. And so ghee, my grandfather, used to use almost half pound of butter a day. And so he said, my God, he should have a heart attack when he was 40.
But this was in the raw form on top of
Exactly. Not deep fried.
That's right.
Not deep fried. And he lived to be 97. If that is not impressive, he was healthy. He was walking almost 7-8 miles a day until 2 weeks before his death. And he has, I said, no glasses on him. Teeth set was perfectly good. And he was sharp, witty. So I think we have promoted a wrong message. I'm not asking you to eat 2 pounds of butter a day. That's not good because we live in a different. Because he was also walking, so I think we need to see how. But butter is good for you. Another what good for is it increases your HDL. And in our clinic, we have seen when we give people who come to me with a 30 HDL, or which is very low, which is actually a disease. When we put them on the butter, the HDL gets up, and this is that's what we want. That's the whole process what we want to do. Similarly, coconut oil. All of a sudden now you see coconut oil everywhere, and has become a good fat. And 10 years ago, this was a bad fat. So, are we doing the science? Or are we doing the hoax? This is my question. We become so excited, and I think 10 years ago, these scientists will come on fence and they'll be ready to fist fight you on this, that this saturated fat are so bad for you. Now, all of a sudden, these same saturated fat are becoming good. I think let's discuss the article which was published in the Telegraph in the London. So the heading is very interesting. It says,
the article says high cholesterol does not cause heart disease. New research finds so treating with statins is a waste of time.
So it's funny that now this has been I think the bug is out now, and it is becoming universal that we have a wrong strategy. We made billions, trillions of dollars for the drug company without any public health. And I think this issue is a serious issue. And my health is my own personal issue. When patient comes to a doctor, I see that patient for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And in our clinic, we are good seeing 30 minutes. But in an average clinic, they see only for 5 minutes. Okay. So your doctor does not know what's going on with you. And he slapped you with this statin drug or other drugs. And who is going to suffer is you. So I think before you make a decision, you need to consult some other physician who has done it. And in our clinic, we see so many patients. This recent, I think you were also on that case too, where a girl came to us with the FMD, the fibromuscular disease of the blood vessel. And you remember that patient? And she had blood vessels blocked, almost 80% blocked. And she could have, heart attack. And she was on statin drug too. And we took her off the statin drug. 3 years later, when the CAT scan was done, she was clean. All the blood vessels was flowing, the blood in that all over the body. Amazing, and she is not taking statin drug. So statin drugs were given to her to just prevent that, but it was not causing the problem because liver was inflamed.
Just 1 minute, sir. I really want to get in your expertise on herbal medicine. So Google is a really good benefit to reducing high sensitivity CRP, and also curcumin, which is from turmeric. So could you just add to that?
So again, I think the wisdom of the Mother Nature is the best, and I'm a fan for it. And the more older I get a little cynical about it because it's so much. No, this is real because this is reality. Again, coming back to the Mother Nature. So Google has been studied and it's been used in Ayurvedic medicine. Charak has mentioned it, who is the forefather of the medicine, that it removes the plaque from your. And now we have studies that it reduces the C-reactive protein. And I was sharing with you that there was a negative paper published on Google many years ago by Dr. Sodhi of Harvard. And when I read this paper, what I found out that he completely missed the whole story. The Google lowered C-reactive protein 29%, and he didn't mention it. Okay, and it lowered lipoprotein A, which is another measurement for heart attack. And so when we have these two, we are getting good results. But on top of it, it also lowers the lipid peroxidation, the oxidation process. When you're lowering the oxidation process in the heart, you are going to get benefit. Curcumin, again, there's a tons of studies available. Amla, actually, we didn't even talk about amla. Amla is an amazing antioxidant and has shown remarkable results in preventing heart disease. I think this is really phenomenally good. So again, coming back to the normal process. So what can help you? Simple, basic tools. You don't have to be rocket scientist to be healthier. And most of the rocket scientists are not healthy, by the way. Sorry. You need to walk. You need a more plant-based diet. If you have a plate, 50% of your food should be plant-based. Means your green vegetables, your colorful vegetables. Couple fruits. Eat seasonal fruit. You can have meat and chicken or fish, but not too much of it. You can have dairy product, if you're not allergic to it, yogurt is really good. Butter can be good, but not too much. Ghee is a clarified butter, can be good. Again, I think you brought the question of the alpha-hyaluronic acid, and the ghee has that one. It lowers your cholesterol, by the way.
And reduces peroxidation.
Exactly. So we had a benefit from it. So with that, I'm going to stop the program here. So follow the laws of Mother Nature, and you'll be healthy, and you have no heart disease. This is Dr. Sodhi.